All right, so we were definitely making a big mess over here. So now we're gonna go into a little bit more advanced topics of vectors. So I'm gonna go ahead and click my pen again. By the way, I keep calling these vectors. A vector is just a line. So the difference between like this square and this square is that this square on the left is made out of lines. This one is just a square shape. So apologies for using the word vectors there. But so we're gonna go ahead and let's just say a square. So something you'll notice here, I'm gonna go to my move tool. If I zoom in on this square, you'll see when I hover on the line, there's this little blue dot that pops up. So I can actually grab this blue dot and affect the shape of this here. So when I do that, so you'll notice when I hover, there's only one dot, right? There's one dot between this dot, and there's a dot in the middle. And when I move it, now that it's moved, there's more dots that appear. So there's one between these two, and then there's one over here between these two. Oops. And you'll actually notice this will continue on forever. So there's another one. So I move it, and there's another one. So I move it, and there's another one. So every time you move something, there's going to be a dot between the two. And this can come in handy because, let's see, where could we use this? Well, let's go ahead and make this home icon. So I'm going to select done. So that unselects what I had before. I'm going to select the pen. And I'm just going to start out with this really simple box. And then I'm going to hit, oh, not done. I'm going to select the move tool so that I can grab these little dots in here. And I notice, okay, well, there's a bit of a roof on there. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Except there's this little dip right here where it goes in and then down. And so on here, I only have this in the middle. And so I can bring it in, but that just doesn't quite look right. But what I can do is I can pull this, I can go up here and I can do that. And then you'll notice I can grab this down here and just line that up like that. And then I can do the same thing here. So I can grab this middle one and I can pull it up to there. And I can grab this and I can pull it up to here. All right. So I could call it here, but I'm not a huge fan of how wide and the way this is all dispersed. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make some changes. You can follow along. You can try to do it. But just notice how when you kind of start messing with something, it's very quick that you can make it into what you were, trying to make in the first place. So maybe the first time you draw a line, it isn't exactly what you were expecting. But then the next time you draw that same line, it can get just closer and closer and closer until eventually you get what you were looking for. So that's pretty close. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the fill here. So you'll notice there's currently no fill. There's a stroke, which if I move that, that's the outer line. So I'm going to exit out there. Actually, I'm going to keep this white. And then I'm going to go to this fill and I'm going to click this plus. So now we're adding a fill. And so you'll notice the difference here, right? So on the inside is that gray color. And then on the outside is the white color. So if you look over here, the fill is gray, the stroke is this white color. So there's just a bit of a distinction there to keep in mind when you're doing these. So I can click the fill and I can go to the white. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I can drag this up. So bam, we've created the home. We've created this little messaging thing. So yeah, we're making some progress. Let's go ahead and let's make this discover icon. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do a shape tool here because that makes the most sense. So we're going to draw this circle and it's really hard for me to make it a perfect circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and make one close. And then I'm going to go over here to where this width and this height is. And since the width is 24, I'm going to go ahead and also make the height 24, which then makes this a perfect little circle. And knowing what we just learned about the stroke tool, I'm going to add a stroke, right? Because we want it to look like this little magnifying glass. So I'm going to add this stroke and I'm going to make the stroke white. But then for the inside, for the fill, I'm just going to hit this little minus and it goes away completely. So now you can see we're really, really close here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go to the pen tool. I'm going to put it right there and right there. And then it's connected. So I'm going to hit the enter button. And then I want to make this white, just like this is white. So I'm going to go over here, make it white. And you'll notice if I try to move this right now, it separates. It separates the circle from the line. So this is also a new topic or a new trick here. I'm going to click and drag to where it highlights the whole thing. And then I'm going to right click in here. And I'm going to go down to this group selection, or depending, Mac or Windows, you can hit Control G. And I'm going to group it. And you'll notice over here on this layers panel, this little drop down appeared. So within the drop down, I have this vector and the circle that I just made. And overall, I have the whole shape. So now if I zoom out, I can grab this entire shape and move it because it's now grouped. So that's that. Let's see. This one is probably the hardest. Saved it for last. So we'll start out. We'll make a circle first. And I'm going to do that same trick. This is 20, so I'm going to make this 20 rather than, sitting here and trying to get it all just perfect. So Control Z. And then what else do we want? So we want a white stroke and then nothing in the middle. So I'm going to add a stroke, and that stroke is going to be white. And I'm going to take out the fill. So now if you hold it up here, perfect. Now, this is one of the more complex things we're going to learn here. It's called the curve. You're using the pen tool just like before, and you want to draw a line with it. And then what you want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Oops. So click and then hit enter. So that draws your line. And you want to double click in, because when you double click, it brings up these extra vector tools. When you click outside of it, you'll notice it's just the regular tools. So you want to double click into there. And I could just pull this up to get this curve that's underneath this right here. But it doesn't quite look the greatest. So I'm just going to Control Z that, and I'm going to click on this curve tool. Now with the curve tool selected, I can select this and I can grab, so I don't know if you can see it well, but there's these two little diamonds. And you can see when I pull on those diamonds, it's really cool. It adds this perfect curve. So I'm only pulling on this right diamond right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up. Then I'm also going to grab this left diamond and I'm going to put it up there as well. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just brainstorming here. So we're going to call that good. And then I can zoom out and I can click done. And now I can make this white. And I'm going to position it right there. You can totally see it coming together. It's a little profile icon. We're going to click and drag. So we're going to group it again like we did with the last one. And group selection. Now I can zoom out and look at us. So we have made all the TikTok icons. We can practically make the TikTok app now. So that's some advanced topics for vectors. And as a bonus, I have one last thing to show you guys. And it's pretty much it's what makes Figma really fun.